What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday, and we're back with another Comic Collector Origins, episode 25. I feel like these are just flying by now, starting to really get into the groove of things, and hope everybody's doing well. I know we're still just really fresh, kicking off the new year. Everything's good over here. If you guys don't mind, take a moment, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you guys are new here, I do the show every Saturday, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Comic Collector Origins is all about the community. I ask people from the community to come on as my guests, and we basically learn about everyone's origin. So we always talk about origin stories of characters, superheroes, and comic books. So this is a way for us to, dive deep into the origin side of the actual collector and how they got started, what their first appearance is at a Comic-Con, what their first appearance is going to a comic book shop for the first time, who influenced them to get into collecting, and kind of where they stand now with some of their goals with this hobby. So I'm really excited to have my guest on for today. His name is James. He goes by the name For the Love of Comics over on Instagram. I feel like I've known James for over a year for sure. I feel like probably a year and a half, maybe even longer than that. He's been part of the community, doing a lot of awesome posts and different content, and just engaging with the community. So I've gotten to know James over time. So really excited to have him on. So I'll bring him on now, and we'll get this stuff started here. So James, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just trying to think about how long you think we've known each other for, at least through the Instagram world.
I want to say maybe a year.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I was like, it's definitely before the pandemic and all that stuff. I know that. Yeah. So very cool. And now you said you're out in Texas?
I'm in San Antonio.
San Antonio. Okay. Very nice. How long have you been out there for?
About 3 years.
Okay. Where are you from? Oh man, my audio again.
Oh, good. Georgia.
Georgia. Okay, very cool. And anybody watching, I don't know, the audio's been a little crisp for me over these past few minutes. So I don't know what's going on, but so bear with me if I have some technical difficulties. But so James, I appreciate you coming on, man. Like I said, we've been talking back and forth. I love the content that you've been putting out there. I'm excited to learn a little bit more about your hobby of this and how you got started. Before we get into that, I want to just say a quick hello to the chat, and then we'll dive into some questions. So we got Andres Mercy all the way over from Sweden. Good to see you, Andres. Always appreciate you swinging by, my friend, and hanging out. Azor's Tiger Comics in the house. Eric, what's up? Good to see you, brother. Heard that you were just on a podcast talking some X-Men, so very cool. Steve is in the house representing Team Nerd Herd podcast. He says, hell yeah, I made it on time for once. Happy Saturday, gents. Yes, same to you, my friend. Same to you. Some good people, and I'm sure we're going to get some more. Throughout this time, everybody in the chat, feel free. You have questions or anything you want to throw out to James, throw that in the comment section. I'll light that up for James to answer. And James, feel free to, take this in any direction as questions come up, if you want to jump in and answer any of these questions that come up. We got Pat Cave Comics in the house. What's going on, Pat? Hey, football and No Good Comics. Great Saturday. Hell yeah. Definitely another football guy in the house there, amongst other things. My DC friend, my Green Lantern friend, Pat Cave Comics. Good to see you, brother. All right, so James, I mean, right off the bat, let's start off with, how old were you when you first got into comics, and kind of where were you? Like, what was your world like at that time?
Man, I've been in comics since I was probably 6 years old.
Damn.
See them at the grocery stores. There's no one particularly who influenced me. It's just I would see them at the grocery store, you know what I mean, at the gas station, and I was just always gravitated towards superheroes.
Very cool. So you started out, picking them up younger. Did you have any friends or family members that influenced you on some of the characters, or who to check out, or you just explored?
I love all on my own, I guess you would say.
Very cool. And what about, were you a fan of, like, any of the cartoons in the 90s, or any of the older movies and things like that?
Bro, by the time the cartoons came out in the 90s, I was too busy, doing other things.
Sure. So what about, obviously you took breaks here and there. what was that journey like? I mean, you were as a kid, you were collecting comics, reading comics. When was it that you kind of got back into where you are today in terms of, you got a lot of nice slabs up on the wall. I see your collection that you're posting all the time. How long did it take you to get to that point?
Well, the realization that I could actually afford to buy these expensive comic books that I didn't have access to as a kid, that's what opened the doors, man.
Yeah.
And the doors, like, damn, I can go out here and buy an Incredible Hulk 181.
Yeah. So what when was that? Just like within the past couple of years, or?
Past few years, I think the MCU movies have really drew a lot of people back in. I feel like it's a renaissance for comic books currently.
Absolutely, 100%. That's certainly one way that got me more involved in just opening up to, wanting to learn a little bit more, especially when we heard about, Thanos coming and everything else. I remember, yeah, Infinity Wars was a comic that was just being released by Jerry Duggan, and that's what introduced kind of, or influenced me at least, because I wanted to know more about Infinity Wars. Not that it had anything to do with each other technically, but yeah, you're right. So the movies definitely play a big part. So, and have you gone to like any Comic Cons or anything like that? What's your experience with those?
Never been to a Comic Con, man.
No, okay. Do you plan on it? Would you like to go to one?
Once this pandemic clears now, yeah, why not?
Heck yeah, man. I'm hoping. I can't wait for this whole thing to be done.
Ew, bro, this crap.
Yeah. It's definitely been dealt a crappy hand for sure. But we're getting through it. We're getting through it. I see Off-White Tim is in the house. What's going on, Tim? Oh, what's going on, Tim? And there's Raging Cajun Comics. Good to see both of you hanging out. Yes, sir. The so all right, so you I mean, you're talking about going to like groceries, when you're going to grocery stores and things like that, you're seeing these comic books. At that time, were you more into the DC stuff, Marvel, or where'd you stand?
When I was younger, I was more DC. But now as I've grown older, I'm more Marvel, because Marvel, I identify with them a little bit better.
Okay.
So I have a friend on here on Instagram. His name is Paul. He's Comic Hunter 73. Just a shout out.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of his sayings is Superman's greatest flaw is that he has no flaws. I can't really identify with him anymore. So.
Wow, that's a great point, man. Yeah, hell yeah. That's a really great point. And I'll tell you, I have a hard time getting excited about reading like a Superman book, for sure. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I'm not even, and I think I kind of fall into the same thing with you, where it's like I'm not even a DC guy per se. Yeah, like I don't have any problems with DC. I like the idea of Batman and just in general, but where my mind is at, where I'm reading and focusing is certainly more Marvel. So in the Marvel world, then what are some of the characters that you're more related to?
I love Captain Marvel, man. Captain Marvel, the Punisher, Wolverine, Luke Cage, the Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Those characters I really identify with.
Hell yeah. And so, I mean, just hearing some of these names, then yeah, obviously the films must have really hit home for you.
Yeah, man, it's like a connection, you know what I mean? Because you got these movies out, and you can get the comic books, and you got the spec. It just adds so much fun to the entire collecting.
Big time, absolutely. So would you say that it's the stories and the reading that got you into comic books first and foremost before speculation or anything like that?
Yeah, it was the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to speculate, but that crap you can go down the rabbit hole with that.
Yeah, for sure. Don't want to. Yeah, sorry. Say again.
Kind of buy everything that's hot.
Yeah, you can't. You just can't. I mean, it's. I had a guy I worked with who said, wow, you can't. He said something like, you can't have everything because after all, where would you put it, or something like that.
Great point. Where would you?
Yeah, and that's actually a problem I'm having right now, is starting to run out of actual like space, which is, I've never really thought I'd hit that problem, but here I am.
Do a lot of reading online too, right? Use Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, so I've switched over to a lot more of that, and partially because, kind of like we were saying, like saving some of that room takes up less time, and personally, I actually really like digital reading. I know that there's mixed feelings in the community about that, but I'm all for digital reading. Not to say they shouldn't get rid of comics, physical. I still want to buy the physical books, but I'm a bigger fan with digital. Where do you stand with that? Are you a digital guy at all?
Because digital has allowed me to read comic books that I wouldn't actually have access to ordinarily.
Yeah.
So many Silver Age books that they're just too expensive to get. There's no way I could have read them without the app.
It's true. And also, I mean, even if you had those Silver Age books or Golden Age, even, I know for me, I would not want to touch those things because if I knew how much they're worth,
And there was a guy on the other day, he was wearing gloves when he was looking at his books.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know Mercy in the chat here. He's talked to me about that. He wears gloves, but otherwise he does a lot of digital stuff because yeah, it's a pain, man. It's a pain to have to be as careful as you have to be.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
How much is the Marvel Unlimited app? I think it's $10 a month.
Yeah, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.
You have access to pretty much the entire catalog.
Yeah, it's like 75,000 or something like that, different books, and they're constantly putting the new stuff in, which is great. Yeah. I just want to light up Steve here saying, man, I'm hurting that cons are at a hiatus. I need my fix. Yeah, you're not alone there. Mercy was saying, I'm kind of having a hard problem hearing James. Anybody else? Yeah, guys, let me know if you guys are having any audio issues or if you can't hear something.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm holding it right now. I had it on the table.
Okay. And Mercy says, yeah, always gloves on for the old stuff.
That's a bit extreme in my opinion, but hey, do you?
Yeah, no, exactly. It's like it's tough to actually enjoy the book if you're nervous on each and every page that you're trying to flip around or whatever.
I understand how it feels because with some of my books, man, we got a cat. Cat jumps all over. Cat, you jump on this book.
Oh man, that'd be the worst, man. That'd be the worst. You can't press out claw slicing. That's great. So I noticed that you had some CGCs behind you. Are you more of a grading guy now, or do you still prefer certain books raw?
When I first got back into comic books, probably October 2018, I mean, I was all in. Everything that Comic Tom told me to buy, Key Collector, all guys, I was all in. I was buying everything. I'm a little bit more specific as to what I buy.
So that's interesting. Like, how do you feel about the idea of that? Because I know a lot of newer comic book collectors come in and they hear a lot of the the speculation hype, lists, all these different top 10 lists and people talking about what books you should buy here or there. What are your thoughts on that in general?
You can never go wrong as long as you're buying books that you like. That's my opinion. Because when I first got in, I was listening to Comic Tom, there's nothing wrong with those guys. They're just promoting, you know what I mean?
Sure.
They're basically a tool. You can't buy everything that these guys recommend. Buy what you like, and then you can't go wrong. Like, you'll never see a Flash in my collection. You never see Green Lantern in my collection. You never see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in my collection because I don't care for them. This new clown book that just recently came out, that does nothing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Image, because I'm not into clowns, you know what I mean? So why would I buy that?
Sure. No, I think you have a great point there, and several great points, because I really like what the platform that guys like Comic Tom and others have created for themselves. And this is not to say anything negative about them. They're doing their thing, and like you said, they're really just promoting information and facts and things that have come out. Sure, you're going to have people who are excited about certain books and may put out information in terms of you got to buy this book because maybe you just loved it. But at the end of the day, I think it's any person's responsibility to take that information properly, process it properly, and say, okay, like this person wants me to buy this book because they really like it. That's okay that they want me to because of their like. But now I have to register, is it for me? Is it something that I'm going to enjoy? And like you said, otherwise you're going to have these piles of books that you don't know, you don't care for.
In the beginning, man, I was buying up everything. Anything that was hot, I was buying. I still like to enjoy having a hot book.
Yeah, sure. No, it's same here. And Yeah, and you're not alone. I mean, that half of the book, I got like 15 short boxes. I want to say at least 5 or 6 of them got to be almost full of books that now I sort of regret buying. And a lot of it comes from the beginning. I started out very similar time to you. I know you mentioned, 2018 in terms of coming back into the game.
That was from the 90s.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So for when I got back in 2018, I started doing kind of that, like just buying up what I saw, the lists and people talking about, making that kind of mistake essentially. But
Naomi won.
gosh, man, what is going on with that book? Because I have that book now. I grabbed that book and I know it was hyped and then it died out and then it rehyped again. And
well, they have a TV show coming out, I believe, and I think that's why it's got back to being one of the hot books.
Okay, that makes sense.
So successful. I mean,
yeah. And like I said before, I'm not really that big of a DC guy, so it almost makes me want to sell that thing and just sell it while it's hot now, right?
I'm not that big on. I do like what they did with the Joker, Batman Who Laughs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't read it.
Character, so I had to have his first appearance.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I haven't explored any of those yet, but I've heard some good things for sure. Mercy saying that he has OCD about the gloves.
Oh, I have OCD. comes along with being a comic book collector.
Pretty much. What are some books that you're reading right now? I know it's one of the questions I want to ask you is kind of where you at in terms of some of the titles that you're reading.
Man, you know it. Got that Saga, bro.
Nice.
I can't even get in the camera. There we go.
Very nice.
Trade paperbacks, man, that stuff is so weird, but the way they write it, it works.
Yeah.
I mean, they got all these weird characters. To me, the best way I can describe it is it reminds me of the Fifth. If you take Star Wars and mix it with the Fifth Element.
Ooh, yeah, hell yeah. Fifth Element's great too, by the way. I just found out my girlfriend hasn't seen that movie yet. So we're gonna have a movie night and put that on at some point. But that's a great description, and it's funny because I actually got my girlfriend into reading Saga. She just started reading it.
Because it's based off of reality, not reality as far as the characters, but I mean, they have real life issues. They're raising this kid, they're having issues, and they're trying to protect him. And man, it's just really good stuff. Absolutely,
and I remember when you hit the scene with your love for Saga, I feel like that really amplified. I mean, there's fans out there and people love the thing, but to see you go through this process of like, oh, this is amazing. I gotta get, I love it. I relived some of that, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. You go ahead.
I would see Saga all over the place when I got back because I think Saga came out in 2012, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
But I would see it around, you know what I mean? I heard so many things about it, and I just took a chance. I bought the trade paperback, the first one, and I loved it. I haven't read anything that good in some time.
Yep. And you were sold.
Yeah, I was. I have 1 through 7.
Yep.
Wait. To be honest with you, Justin, the things that I like to read now are primarily independents.
Oh, okay.
Those stories really speak to me, to my adult heart. You know what I mean? I'm 44 years old. So the guys running around in tights, like it only does so much for me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just read, what's it called? Man's World. That was pretty good.
Oh, first issue, right? It just came out?
Upshot. That was a pretty good read.
I saw that. I didn't read it yet, but I might pick it up still. I saw that. So I like that let me just say, I love to hear that you're getting into independent stuff because I'm right there with you, man, in terms of finding some of these stories that are a bit more relatable to certain aspects. And not to say that, Marvel and DC are not relatable, but like you said, like, certain things with, superheroes running around in tights, that whole aspect, the good versus bad, like that simple aspect, sometimes I'm looking for something a little different or a little more, like you said, very, very similar to like Saga, this drama, this human-like drama that's being dealt with, even though it takes place in this futuristic world. is very real. On that note, I wanted to ask you: have you ever read Descender by Jeff Lemire?
Oh, I haven't.
I would recommend checking out at least the first trade or two and put it on your list if you're looking for something new. Say again?
Descender?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll check that out most definitely, especially since you told me to.
Yeah, man. Yeah. If you're, I mean, I'm right there with you in terms of exploring a lot of these newer independence books, and there are some amazing ones. And Descender's older too. I mean, I think it came out. I think Descender was like 2005 or 2008, something like that. And it's not too long. It's like 6 trades altogether, so it's not. Yeah.
That short to the point.
Exactly. Each issue has a point to it. It doesn't drag out or anything like that. So, I want to say a quick hello to Morbius here in the chat. He says, "Peace, family. Good to see you, brother." Steve saying, multipass. Oh, he's talking about for the getting into the Comic Cons. Got to get multipass. And then Nigel's in the house here. What's going on, Nigel? He's my fellow Baltimore.
Nigel?
Yeah. Desired Comics. Yeah, I have him scheduled for the show too. I think in a couple months.
Oh, there's somebody else I want to get scheduled.
Oh yeah. Oh, who's that?
I'll hit you up on Instagram.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Let me know.
Ease of comic book collecting.
Okay. Cool, man. Hey, I'm always looking for any guests that want to come on that's part of the community, hang out and talk comics. Always down for that. And I fully support this Desired Comics.
Is he from Baltimore too, or?
Yeah. He's down there.
What's it, Lamar Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's phenomenal.
He really is, man. He's like a video game. The way he can like juke people and stuff.
I always used to say about Michael Vick, I said if Vick could learn to pass first and then run, he would be so dangerous. But his first thought was to run.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, I think that Lamar's starting to get that balance a little bit. Teddy's in the house here. This is Rach Theo. Just had him on as my guest last week. So Teddy, good to see you.
Capes are cool.
He says, Lamar. We'll get into some football because I do want to talk a little football with you towards the end of this. So was there any other books that you're currently reading right now that you're exploring through? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I still have to read Parallel. That's by Jason. I can't remember his last name, but he's an independent. I believe it's from Boom Studios, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it Douglas? Jason Douglas?
Yeah, Jason Douglas. That's him.
Okay. He's great. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He kind of talked me into buying his book, posting it up, and he bribed me. And I said, "Man, do you need my social security number too? So collect taxes off me?"
That's hysterical.
I'll read his book and then I'll post a review, let everybody know if it's good or not. If it's not good, then maybe not. I don't want to bash him, you know what I mean? But if it's good,
sure.
I'll blow him up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I remember seeing that around a little bit. Not too familiar with it, but so any other than the independent stuff, no Marvel right now for you?
I was reading Captain Marvel.
Okay.
A few issues, and so you know what I mean. It kind of got. Basically, what I've been when it comes to Marvel, what I've been doing is using the Marvel Unlimited app and reading back issues. I'm currently reading Daredevil, the Frank Miller saga.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. Absolutely. Hey, that's what that Unlimited app's perfect for, is really going back. I went back when I first got the Unlimited app. I went back and read the original Daredevil, like the first, 7 or 8 issues with the yellow suit and everything, and
be able to read that without that app. The app is so great, isn't it?
Yeah, big time. Plus you get to see the images like blown up and they're colorized and clean. So I'm with you there for sure. Yeah, exactly. Do you have any books that you want to show off here? Any 2-3 books, something that means something to you, or any backstories that you want to share?
Let's see if I can figure out how to get. You guys know I'm technological illiterate.
Nah, you're doing good, man. Here, I'm gonna blow you up here. Put you on the front here. Oh, I know that one. What's that one there?
Incredible Hulk 181. That is a book that's very special to me because I never ever thought I would be able to have the first appearance of Wolverine.
Wow.
I'm blessed to have it. You know what I mean? I had to sell a bunch of pistols and football cards and everything to get it, but I've got it, and I'm so happy.
Wow. Can you hold it up one more time? I didn't see the grade.
It's an 8.0.
Very nice, man.
Oh man, I can't figure out this camera, bro.
It's all good.
I'm so struggling.
It's all good. Very nice.
And it's the green label, but I'm fine with that, man.
Yeah, look, I mean, exactly. If it's for your personal collection, it's something that you're going to keep, like this is for you, then it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah, I'm primarily a collector. It's rare for me to sell my books. I have people that reach out to me asking if they can buy my books. I'm like, no, man, I collect that.
Yeah, yeah. When did you get that book?
I got that almost 2 years ago, I'd say. When I first back into it. Because I remember back in the day, I remember looking on Amazon and they had it on there. They wanted $500. I remember thinking to myself, damn, that's a lot of money. I can't just, that's before I went back hardcore. But now, I'm not going to tell you what I spent on that one, but it definitely was more than that.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably good that you grabbed it when you did 2 years ago, because that thing has just nothing but gone up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still late to that game. I'm going to pay a fortune by the time I decide to buy it.
Yeah.
But
get another shot. Kelso Comics, Jermaine, we both got our time. We were saying the exact same thing what you just said. We said, man, we've got to get a copy because it's going to blow up. And sure enough.
And he's not even in another film yet. Just wait till they announce the film. Forget it.
Oh, man, it's going to be impossible to get in.
So very cool. I like great book. Congratulations on that. Definitely a must-have for sure. Anything else that you want to share? Any other books that you have?
If I can get in the camera, man, I'm struggling over here. I got
whoa,
29.
There you go, 7.5. Beautiful.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I took my girlfriend out to eat. We got margaritas and everything. I was in such a good mood. I was on cloud 9. She didn't realize the reason why.
Oh man, wait, when did you get that?
I got that I don't remember, man. It's about maybe that was been more than 2 years ago.
Okay. I
mean that and I was able to pick it up from a guy who actually lives in San Antonio, and so I didn't have to wait on the shipping. Man, that was a good day, bro. That was I've yet to achieve again.
Oh my goodness, man. That is a huge book for sure. Steve says I'm fitting to sell my kidney. Whatever you got to do, right, man? Whatever you do.
Bro, so go for it.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. Mercy 2 saying, damn, what a dream. 129. That's a big one, man. It's certainly a big one. Morbius saying 2 books on his Christmas list.
Earlier, Justin, before when I was a kid, there's no way possible. Because I grew up poor, you know what I mean? I'm an RN now, I do pretty good for myself. But I'm blessed to be able to have these books because as a kid, there's no way I would have had access to them.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it, man. It's great that you can come back around now. It's great that this hobby is still here. It's just something that you can pick right back up.
Help to prop it up. Because
the
community is so great. I have friends all across the world, man. I got Liam in Australia, Paul in England, Mario in Poland, Brandon in York. I mean, Jermaine, he's in Ohio. T'Challa, he's in San Diego. Jay Cruz, he's in New York.
Yep.
The community has been so great. And I think that's the reason why we've all stuck with it. Because, we come and go. We come into this thing in phases and we phase out.
Yep. Absolutely.
We all have friends all across the world.
Yeah, man. And that, to me, that was one of the big reasons why I wanted to start this show, was just to, start highlighting people from the community, people that I've met, whether I've gotten to talk to them before or just starting to catch up for the first time. So that now, I mean, if I'm in San Antonio, if I see you walking down the street and I see you, I'm going to say, what's going on, bro? Like, you're not a stranger. So it's cool. It's cool to be able to do that kind of stuff. And, again, when they start opening things up again, we can do Comic-Cons and things like that. I know a lot of buddies of mine that are willing to travel and go to these Comic-Cons. It's going to be just one big party. I feel like we're going to see everybody.
Sure, man. Because everyone that I talk to, we've been talking about getting together too.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. And if you're ever on the East Coast, if you're ever over in Jersey or New York, you got to let me know, man, because I'm right there.
Yeah.
So when did you discover this comic book community for yourself in terms of like Actually, let me back. When did you start your Instagram account for comics?
Oh man, I think it was maybe 2018. That's 3 years ago. It's probably around that time, about 2018. Because I have another, I got a personal Instagram account, but I don't use it anymore. You know what I mean? Primarily, I post everything to the comic, and I'm just so committed to the comic book one.
Yeah, I find myself doing the same thing. I have a personal one. You know, it's got family on it. It's got old friends from high school and college, but I barely look at it now. So when you created this comic book account, did you know at that time or realize at that time that there was this community, or did it take time to like slowly meet people?
No idea, man. The first guy I spoke to was Darren. He's in Canada. We used to have long conversations. I spoke with Andrew. He's another OG of the comic book collecting community. Andrew, you talking about R.S. Claire's? Yeah, but I was clueless, man. But once I got on here, there's so many people, and the community was so welcoming and so open. Man, I loved it.
Yep, absolutely. Desire saying outstanding community, top notch. 100%. Morbius here saying, I used to stand on the welfare line with my grandmother for the free block of cheese that they hand out back in the early 80s. I know, poor. Congrats on the.
Hey, man, the cheese was impossible to cut.
Yeah, Morbius saying, I love this community. Absolutely, man. It's been great. Everybody that's in the chat, people that I've met through this community, people that I've been having on my show too. So it's just been great. It's been great. It's cool to hear. It's cool to hear your process, because I'm always curious to hear, like, I know some people who jump in the community because they have friends that are already part of it, and they say, hey, you got to get in on this. But then there's others like yourself and me, where we were just exploring, just creating an account. I'm like, let me just show my books. I'm starting to get cool covers. Let me just take pictures. So it's cool. Yeah, it's very cool that you're able to fall into where you have been and met the people, as you're naming all these people from across the world. It's incredible.
Yeah, it is. And who would have thought when we were kids? I don't know how old are you, Justin? You don't mind me asking?
I'm 32.
Who would have thought when we were kids we'd be able to communicate with people clear across the world?
Yeah.
To me, that is, because when I was a kid, we didn't even have cell phones.
Right. It's a crazy. It's an amazing world. I mean, now the things that we can do, and not only just communicate, but to really build relationships. Right. Yeah. I mean, you really know some of these people. You get to know them. You get to know their lives, their family that are in the background when you're doing videos with them and things like that. Like, you just get to know people.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I probably would have lost interest by now.
Right. Yeah. It's hard if you were just doing this on your own. I mean, yeah, it certainly would be hard. It'd be hard for sure.
All this encouragement, you got all these connections, you got all this pressure.
yeah, for sure. Morbius saying I was the first guy connected. I remember Morbius reaching out to me, man. We just hit it off, and Morbius is local to me. He's probably 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes down south in Jersey. And we haven't met up yet. This is just because we met basically around when the pandemic hit. But we already got all these plans. We're going hunting. We're going out grabbing a drink, have some sushi. We got a whole bunch of plans already laid out. Yeah,
man. So I know exactly what you mean.
Absolutely. Steve here saying the community is legit, man. I love to meet people from different walks of life. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Found a lot more people to talk to in the U.S. than here. Yeah, Mercy's all the way over in Sweden, and I feel like Mercy, you're probably one of the closest friends I have on here in terms of who I've really gotten to know. So it is going back to your point, James, on just how just even how close you can get to certain people from across the world. It's really cool.
You never even see them in person. Some people try to say that they're associates. I said, no, these are friends. Because you talk to people, hey, you get to know them. You know what I mean?
Yep. 100%. So let me hit you up with the next question. Where did I leave off? All right, so we talked a little bit about the books that you're sharing. I always like to ask if you have, and I know you've already given some great advice already, but I want to, if there's anything else you want to add on, what is some advice that you give to someone that's brand new just getting into collecting comic books, you know, if they're approaching this hobby for the first time and they say, James, where do I start? What do I do first? You know, what would something you'd say to them?
Collect what you like. That's the best bit of advice I can give, because if you go out here trying to buy up everything, you'd be broke before it's all said and done.
Yep.
And I was broke because I was buying up everything.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think that is the most accurate for anybody that's just getting into this, to really do research, figure out yourself, kind of you got to find yourself, right? And just see what you like.
And I say set a budget, a limit, because as much as I spend on comic books, I know there's a certain limit that I would be completely I'm dying to have an Incredible Hulk #1, but I know I can't just, even if I had that money, there's no way I would be able to justify spending that kind of money.
Big time. No, you're absolutely right, and I think it can be easy to get, you know, off track in terms of just buying up. You know, I know people have gotten into heavy debt because of certain books and things like that, and you know, for some it works for some, and I know if you have a strategy where you can pay that off and things like that, then, you know, good for you. But like you're saying, you want to budget it, you want to be cautious about, you know, how you approach it, for sure.
Exactly. Because I know Paul, the guy that lives in England, he was telling me that he has a friend who actually went bankrupt off of buying comic books. I'm like, wow, that's extreme.
That is extreme. Yeah, you definitely need to have some self-control, for sure, in terms of you know, prioritizing you know, other things in life as well. At the end of the day, I always try to remind myself, this is a hobby. At the end of the day, it's not life and death. It's not life and death.
Another piece of advice I like to give: you don't have to have everything. It's impossible to have everything. But you know, these guys, these tools, as I call them, the guys that give you advice and all that type of stuff, that can really motivate you to go out there and want to get everything. But it's not necessary to have everything.
Yeah.
How hot the Flash gets, I would never buy a Flash book. Flash is just lame to me.
I mean, 100%. It's like, the other thing too, these guys who say these books are hot or whatever, keep in mind, a lot of them don't own a lot of these books. They're just saying, they're just talking them. They're just, you know, pointing out certain things about them. So I do think we kind of can get confused with, like, thinking they have these already, or that there's like these ultimate collectors who just have everything, and now I need to be that, you know. But you're right. You just have to come to that realization of, like, it's okay. If you don't have something, it's okay.
Pressure, the society, to go out there and try and get everything that they say is hot.
Right.
I have the Key Collector app. I love it because it's a great tool, but you have to be able to decipher and buy things that appeal to you instead of buying things that appeal to the masses.
100%, man. And that I've been trying to say it to people before, where I know that some people have bashed that app, and
it's a great tool.
It is a great tool. And my whole thing is, the app's not telling you per se what to buy. It's giving you information. It's on you. It's on you on what you want to do with that information.
Exactly. And I went a little while without it because, you know, I was thinking same thing that you just said. Mm-hmm. And I need that app, bro.
Yeah, no, it helps. It helps for sure. Even just for me, when I'm flipping through my own collection, to be like, oh, what was this again? You know, I mean, I could Google it, sure. Like, I guess that'd be another way. But this is like a nice, clean way to kind of look at, you know, certain things. And you know, I'd like to at least know what's going on in the community. I think that the news aspect of it too.
So much information tells you what's hot, what's happening. Yeah, and absolutely. The fact that I like looking at comic book related information, that really helps.
Yep, big time, big time. I want to say a quick hello to Nariza R. That's Comics to Go over on Instagram. Good to see you, brother.
And we and I post a lot. We tag each other a lot.
Heck yeah, man. Comics to Go is all over the place, man. He's been another one. He's been very helpful for me in terms of learning some tips and tricks within the comic hobby. He's a good guy. So appreciate you stopping in, man. So I'm just trying to catch up a little bit on the chat here. Raging saying, don't listen to Comic Time 101. LOL, just kidding. Morbius saying, hit that like button. Yeah, guys, appreciate that. If you could hit that like button, always helps out the channel for sure. Yep, we all been there. Rage is saying too that great words, pick up what you like, 100%. Crazy priorities. I think that was going back to your buddy that you're talking about that went bankrupt.
First, man, bills are taken care of.
Yeah, 100%. Discipline. Yeah.
It must have discipline. Don't have is an unlimited supply of money, and I think that's what keeps us.
Right. Morbius too. It's not a competition. You're right. At the end of the day, it's not a competition. He had posted a story on his Instagram talking a little bit about, the idea of how some people, some collectors, they feel the obligation to what we call one up you. When you say you have something, like, oh, you got Hulk 181, I got Hulk 181 in a 9.2, and it's like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
like. Yeah, right, great. It's not a competition. You don't win. You don't win because you have something else. There's no victory lap.
The primary reason we're collecting these comic books is for nostalgic purposes. I mean, let's be real. No one cares that we've got all these comic books. Like my sister was saying, "Ooh, you got over 1,000 followers." I'm like, does that mean more money, more fame? No, it means nothing. I mean, I'm blessed to have them. Don't get me wrong, but
Right. It's true, man. It's true. So I like that. Not a competition. Sorry, this button. All right. So, all right. I want to jump into some rapid questions with you. These are questions I have not prepared you with, and I always do this towards the end of the show. So, just have a couple things that are going to be comic book related, and then I'm going to ask you a couple things that are non-comic book related because I like to get a little bit of a background story too of where you stand on certain things like music and sports. So, first and foremost, if you had to choose one comic book character, and I'm saying comic book characters, I know you're into indie stuff now too, but one comic character, your favorite character of all time, who would that be?
Wolverine.
Boom.
He's got balls in his hands, man. You can't get any cooler than that.
Yep, absolutely, man.
Skeleton. I mean, who thought of that stuff?
For sure. Yeah, man. You certainly would not want to punch him being having a metal skeleton. That's dope. Yeah, hell yeah. All right, what about if you could have a superpower of any type of superpower in the world, what would that one superpower be for you?
Invulnerability.
Ooh, okay. That kind of covers a lot right there.
It really does.
I don't think we've had anybody say that actually on the show so far. We get a lot of flight.
Well, say to my Darth Vader voice, it pleases me to be the first. But, bro.
I like that. Invulnerability. I like that. What about if you could meet an artist or a writer, whether they're whether they're alive or dead, who would that be? If you could sit down and have dinner with them, pick their brain for an hour.
Oh, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. I know you said one, but both of those guys, they're just
Yeah,
classic. You know what I mean? They're icons of the industry.
100%. Yeah,
Being of African American descent, just the fact they were inclusive of all cultures. At least they tried to be. You know what I mean? And that's really.
Yep. That's so true. And the big thing too with that is, sure, as they first started, perhaps they weren't as good as where they could have been. But
Yeah.
I think that they adjusted and grew so much. And obviously, look at where we are today. And where they left their legacy. Marvel and DC, like they've really come a long way in terms of just being more open-minded about certain things. So just seeing the platforms be better.
Spider-Man, man. Can you believe that?
Oh, hell yeah, man.
Agents of Atlas. I mean, that's just. And I think that's another reason why I'm more pro Marvel than DC, just because of the inclusivity.
Yep. I agree with that for sure. Morbius said, "Don't say flight," because everybody was saying that before. You can do a lot with that. Walk through anything. Yep. Talking about the powers. Yep. Dope. What about what's your favorite superhero film of all time?
Oh man, that's a difficult question, bro. I'm gonna say Endgame.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah. Did you see that in theater when you saw that?
Is that the one where I'm getting them mixed up? Is that the one where Thanos did the snap? Which one?
No, that was the one.
Infinity War.
Oh yeah, that was Infinity War, because that game was the final one.
That was my favorite, man, because it just had an Empire Strikes Back feel to it because the good guys lost. You know what I mean? These guys are fading out, man.
Man, I remember leaving the theater and it was like silent. Like people were like sad. Yeah.
I was a little sad. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sucks. because I'm a man's man. But I got sad about that. Seeing Spider-Man disappeared, Black Panther. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And it just left you hanging. You were just like, what?
Yeah, that's why it reminded me so much of The Empire Strikes Back. Because Luke gets his hand chopped off. They're running with their tails between their legs.
Yeah, none of it looks good. None of it looks good. So I like that. It's great choice. I think Marvel did a tremendous job on the whole thing. All 10 years. Can't wait for the new stuff coming out.
I've been watching WandaVision, bro.
Yeah, do you watch it?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's not something I would watch ordinarily, but since it's Marvel, you know what I mean? Why not? Because I'm impressed with what's happening in the Marvel world. So.
Yeah, and I think it's going to build. And I'm not no spoilers or anything, so guys, don't worry if you're in the chat. But I think it's going to build to something big. Clearly,
well,
yeah. So I'm in it for that. I think the actors do a tremendous job too. Both those two. Yeah, they're some of my favorites. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Disney Plus. They are not a sponsor of my show, but just saying.
I'm pretty sure that'd be fine though.
Yeah. All right, so let's mix it up a little before we wrap things up here. A couple of non-comic book questions for you, and then we'll close out with some final thoughts and anything else that you're doing, and we'll go from there. So when it comes to let's start with music. Where do you stand with music? What are you currently listening to, and what is like your number one, your go-to artist or band?
Man, I am so eclectic. If you were to look at my music, you would know who I was. I've got the Beatles, Outkast, Tupac, Dave Matthews. They even have a little stand country. Everybody who knows me knows I cannot stand country. But Chris Stapleton is a very soulful individual.
So good. So I've seen him live 2 years ago. So good, man.
Yeah, I love Chris Stapleton. Man, that guy can sing. But yeah, the only thing I'm not a big fan, like I said, is country and heavy metal. But I do like rock and roll. I like to work out to rock and roll.
Okay, nice. Do you have like a favorite artist or band that you could pick out?
Oh man, I got so many. That's impossible because like him, he's top 3 greatest rappers of all time. Tupac.
Yep. I'm with you there. I am totally with you there. Yep. Comics Go saying true lover of music.
Thank you, my friend.
Morbius talking about watching WandaVision tonight. Very good. Let us know what you think. Yeah, plug for the Disney Plus.
Yeah, they really are, man. Have you been watching The Mandalorian, Justin?
Yes. Yeah, I finished it. So great.
To me, that captures the true essence of what Star Wars is. Whereas
not
the prequels, but the last movies, I mean, they were entertaining, but let's be honest, they didn't really capture the essence.
Right. Yeah, no, 100% with you there. I like this new approach, being able to do it with a show, taking a character and focusing it on a different aspect of what's going on in the world. And obviously we're going to get more of it with all those announcements. I'm really excited to see more of that. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah, I just finished it not too long ago when it was wrapping up. So, what was I gonna? What about if it's a Friday night and it's just you and your girl? You have no one else to worry about at the time. You guys have a dinner of your own set up. Whether you're going out or you're ordering in or you're cooking, what is your go-to Friday night favorite meal to go to?
Well, I try to eat healthy, so I like turkey burgers.
Ooh.
I know that's a boring answer. It's not as cool as invulnerability, but
no, man. Hey, that's great, man. And I'm a fan of burgers. I mean, during the summer I have burgers like twice a week. So whatever it is that yours go to, that's the answer I need. So that's great. What about a choice of beverage? Yeah, anything specific for a choice of beverage?
You know it. I love margarita, man.
Nice.
Proper 12. Somebody bought me some of that stuff for Christmas. Man, that's some smooth whiskey.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, man. I've been going through my bourbons lately, trying to go through a lot of different bourbons. So just been on a bourbon kick. Yeah.
Rotate my liquors too, bro.
Yeah. No, you can't leave them out. What about all right? So let's talk a little bit about sports here. Now, you already told me, but for the people watching and everything, who's your teams? What are your favorite sports and who are your favorite teams?
Well, I'm a diehard 49er fan. I've been a 49er fan since Joe Montana. So I beat red and gold, win, lose, or draw. Doesn't matter. I'm still 49ers for life. I like MMA. I like Israel Adesanya. That guy's amazing. Fighter Anderson. I did like Conor McGregor until he threw that dolly through the bus. To me, that was low class.
Yeah.
Not that
MMA,
big. Sorry, go ahead.
MMA is cool though, man. I've been starting to watch a little bit here and there if it's on, but definitely a cool sport.
Yeah, you can win by grappling, knockout. Man, it's a boxing. Boxing has gotten. I like boxing, but it's got somewhat boring. You know what I mean? Because all the best fighters, they're avoiding fighting one another. It seems like. Whereas MMA, I mean, the best fight's the best usually.
Yeah, I mean they're like bring it on. They just want to take it on. So, do you do anything yourself in terms of?
What's that? You cut off.
Do you do anything for sports yourself?
Oh yeah, I lift weights, and I used to practice Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh wow, okay, very cool, very nice. Well, I definitely can respect the love and the commitment to you being a 49ers fan. I always love to see anyone who's a fan and is a diehard and will stand with them.
Bandwagon people.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, people. I feel like I know a lot of them for the Patriots. I feel like for some reason.
I bet you they're jumping shit right now.
Got to get their Tampa Bay jerseys. But no, that's cool, man. That's very cool. So yeah, I know we talked a little bit about football. So you're excited. You're gonna be watching the playoffs. I know your team's not in it. I'm sorry about that. But you still like watching the playoffs.
As long as the Sea Chickens aren't in it, man, I'm fine with that. That was my bro. When the Lambs beat them, notice I didn't say the Rams. I said the Lambs.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, man, that was big. That was big for sure. And that's what I like about the game too. Is sometimes it's like you have your own Super Bowls, like you have your own key games that it's like doesn't matter what else happens next. We need to win this game.
And that's why I prefer professional football, because any given Sunday, a bad team like let's take for instance the Giants. Remember the Giants when Eli Manning beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, yep.
Like 9 out of 10 games, we all know the Patriots win. But just so happens that one magical moment, the Giants beat them. Eli Manning's a pretty killer, by the way.
Yeah, man. That's a great point. My girlfriend is a diehard Giants fan, and because of that, I am a secondary Giants fan. I do represent Baltimore, but I do support her Giants. Yeah. So she's really into football. I mean, she's I think that's why it works so well with her and I. We met about 3 years ago, and she was I think right away when I saw we met online actually, and I saw one of her pictures. She had a Giants. She was at a tailgate party or whatever, had a Giants jersey on. Started talking, and she knew more about the Giants than I knew about anything related to the Giants. So she's been going since she was a little kid. So I love that kind of stuff. So. Yeah, man, absolutely. But anyways, yeah, man. So I think that's all the questions I have. If is there anything you have coming up, or where can they find you first of all, and then if you have anything that you want to come up, or any shout outs, feel free to share.
I mean, I gotta put my lady out there, Joanie Lopez. I gotta say something about her. You know what I mean? But I've shouted her, Paul, Comic 173, T'Challa, Jay Cruz, Andrew, PJ Morris. He's another OG.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, really cool guy. Jermaine Kelso, Brando Comics, Liam in Australia. Super average. Thinks he calls himself super average guy or something like that. Hunky Comic Books Mark. There's so many people, man. And if I missed you, I apologize. It wasn't on purpose. Just I'm old. I can't remember shit.
We're putting him on the spot. Don't hate him for it. Well, good stuff, brother. Guys, if you're not following James, I'll put his information in the description below. You click that link, that'll bring you right to his Instagram account. James, is there anywhere else that you are other than Instagram that you're living right now in terms of social media?
One more time, I didn't catch that.
Is there anywhere else, any other social media platforms other than Instagram that you are on?
I gave up Facebook a long time ago. There's just too much drama.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the thing I love about Instagram. You can cater to your experience. You know what I mean? Because the comic book world, that's primarily where I stay. I don't fool politics.
Yep.
I don't want to hear what I'm comic books.
I'm with you 100%, man. I'm with you there. Well, good stuff, man. Good stuff, guys. Like I said, make sure you're following James. I wanted to highlight here. Morbius was saying I'm the same way with the Ravens. My son is a diehard Ravens fan, so I always cheer for the Ravens unless they're playing the Giants. He's a Giants fan. Yeah, man.
There you go. Have support.
Right. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week. We'll be back. I'll be back next Saturday, as always. So make sure you guys stick around. Everybody in the chat, thank you guys, as always, for hanging out. Always appreciate your time. If you're watching the replay, and I know there's a lot of you that do, I really appreciate you taking that time to go through and check out these conversations, these hangouts, as we do each and every week. So always appreciate the love and support. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. And we will wrap this up. So everybody have a great day. Go Ravens.
Hey, Justin, I really appreciate you.